Today we're going to work on solving rational equations and inequalities. There's an awful lot of steps here, so I suggest you pause the video, get everything written down, and then come back. Alright, now that you have everything written, we're actually going to use only the first 4 steps because we're going to do it algebraically on the video. Tomorrow when you come into school, we'll do it the alternative method using the graphing calculator so you can see the workings on the smartboard. Alright, the steps tell me to use the LCD method, so that'll eliminate all the denominators and then make sure I check my answers. Alright, so taking a look at number 1. The LCD for 3x and 6 will be, you're right, 6x. So I'm going to multiply every single term by 6x. Truly it's 6x over 1, but I don't need to put that. Alright, let's see what I can reduce or cancel. 3 goes into 6 twice. X and x cancel. 6 goes into 6. They cancel. So let's see what I have left over. I have 2 times x times 2 is 4x plus 24 equals 5x. Okay, I'm going to subtract 4x on both sides. 24 equals x. So there's my value of x. I'm going to go and make sure it doesn't make any of the denominators equal to 0. It doesn't. Then I'm actually going to take my calculator out and check it. I'm going to plug it in, make sure the left side equals the right side, and in this case it does. So 24 is my answer. In number 2, it looks like it's going to be a little harder to find the LCD. So remember what I said. I said that if the LCD is hard to find, you're going to want to factor your denominators to see truly what you have. So I'm going to go over on the side and I'm going to take a look at x squared minus 16. And isn't x squared minus 16 dot? So isn't it an x plus 4 and an x minus 4? So it looks like I'll be able to use x plus 4 times x minus 4 as my LCD because that will cancel out all the denominators. So I'm going to multiply the first term by x plus 4 times x minus 4. I'm going to multiply the middle term by x plus 4 times x minus 4. And then, of course, the last term, x plus 4 times x minus 4. Okay, so let's see what I can cancel or reduce. X squared minus 16 is x plus 4 times x minus 4, so he'll cancel out for both of them. An x plus 4 for x plus 4 in the middle term, and an x minus 4 and an x minus 4 in the last term. So what do I have left over? Let's see here. I have 16 plus 2 times x minus 4 will be 2x minus 8 equals x times x plus 4, which would be x squared plus 4x. Okay, I'm going to neaten up the left side, so now I have 2x plus 8 equals x squared plus 4x. I'm going to move the whole left side to the right because I have a squaring and I need to get one side equal to 0. So I'm going to subtract a 2x and an 8 on both sides. And I'm going to get 0 equals x squared plus 2x minus 8. I'm going to go ahead and see if I can factor in t-bar. Factors of a negative 8, that'll give me a positive 2 plus 4 minus 2. So I get x as a negative 4 and I get x as a positive 2. Now I have to check my answers. Well, the first thing I need to check is, do any of those answers make any of those denominators equal to 0? Negative 4 does, because a negative 4 squared is positive 16, minus 16 is 0, so it makes the first fraction undefined. As long as it makes just one fraction undefined, it has to be rejected. So I need now to take my calculator out and plug 2 in to make sure that the left side equals the right side. So pause the video, take a minute, plug it in, and double check that it works. Hopefully you found that it does work because x equals 2 is my answer. Alright, now we're going to solve inequalities. And when we solve inequalities, we're basically doing the same thing we did with equations, except there's just a couple of extra steps that are different. So pause the video, write the steps, and then come back. All right, hopefully you understood when you were writing out the steps that it's asking you to actually tell them what makes the denominator equal to 0. So we're finding the guy that makes it undefined, because he's going to be used on my number line. And then when we find the other values or values of x, we're going to also put them on the number line. And we're going to have to do a bunch of tests to see whether our circles connect or go in opposite direction, to see really where our answers lie. So let's do that. First things first, what would make x minus 2 equal to 0? Because that's where my x is. So I'm finding a value of x that would make that denominator equal to 0. And you're correct in saying a positive 2. So 2 is going to go automatically on my number line when I get to that point. So now I'm going to rewrite it as an equation. So I have x over 3 minus 1 over x minus 2 equals x plus 1 over 4. I'm going to use the LCD method to get rid of those denominators, and it looks like the LCD I'm going to use is going to be 12 times x minus 2. So every term is going to get multiplied by 12 times x minus 2. Okay, let's see what we can cancel now. I can reduce the 3 and the 12 and get a 4. I can cancel an x minus 2 for an x minus 2 and reduce the 4 and the 12 and get a 3. So what do we have left over now? On the first term, I have 4 times x minus 2 times x, which would give me 4x squared minus 8x. Minus, or a negative 1 times 12, which would give me a negative 12, equals x plus 1 times 3, which is 3x plus 1, times x minus 2. You may want to go over to the side of your paper and try that out on scrap paper to see what you got. Let me see here. I have 3 times x plus 1, which is 3x plus 3, times an x minus 2. So you're probably going to have to do a little bit of FOIL to that. I'll give you a minute and see what you come up with. Okay, did you end up with 3x squared minus 3x minus 6? If you didn't, you might want to pause the video and try it again. I have squaring on both sides, so I need to get one side equal to 0. It looks like the right side would be my best bet, getting that side equal to 0. So I'm going to move the right side to the left. So I'm going to subtract a 3x squared on both sides. I'm going to add a 3x to both sides. And I'm going to add a 6 to both sides. So on the left I have x squared minus 5x minus 6 equals 0. I'm going to factor in t-bar and get an x and an x. Factors of a negative 6, that'll give me a negative 5. I've got minus 6 and a plus 1 t-bar. So I have x is 6 and x is negative 1. Okay, so now we're going to draw our number line. Please remember we have 3 values of x to put on our number line. We have the x equals 2, we have the x equals 6, and the x equals negative 1. So, negative 1 will go here, 2 will go here, and 6 will go here. Take a look at the inequality symbol. It just says less than, so they're all going to be open circles. We want to make especially the 2 an open circle, because think about it. If you close the circle at 2, it would mean that 2 is included in my answer. And if 2 was included in my answer, it would make the middle term's denominator undefined, and that wouldn't be able to be solved. So you want to be careful with that. All right, so I need to try a number in each interval. I'm going to need to check a number that's to the left of negative 1, plug it into the original, see if the left side is less than the right. If it's not, I say no. If it is, I say yes. Pick a number between negative 1 and 2, do the same thing. A number between 2 and 6, do the same thing. And a number greater than 6, and do the same thing. So pause the video, check out your numbers, and find out which intervals work and which do not. All right, hopefully you said that everything to the left of negative 1 is a yes. What I tried between negative 1 and 2 was a no. What I tried between 2 and 6 was a yes. And what I tried to the right of 6 was a no. So, we need every number that's going to be smaller than negative 1 and every number that falls between 2 and 6. So we need to write our answer. So I need every x that's less than -1, or I need every x that's going to be greater than 2 but less than 6. So there's my answer. I know this was a very tedious problem and it had a lot of steps. So at the end of the video, you may want to go back and replay it just for a little clarity. I'm not going to do number 4 with you, but I want you to copy it down now and leave some space because that's what I want to leave you with tonight to try on your own. And then we'll go over that first thing tomorrow. Moving to number 5. And number 5 will be our last one for today. Number 5, first thing, it's an inequality, so I need to find out what would make the denominator equal to 0 or undefined. And the only thing that would make that undefined would be x equals a -4. So that's going to go on my number line. So now I'm going to write it as an equation. So I have x squared minus 2x minus 8 over x plus 4 equals 0. So I'm going to multiply both sides by x plus 4 because that would be my LCD. So the x plus 4's on the left will cancel. And on the right side, that's going to be easy. Anything times 0 is 0. So all I have left is x squared minus 2x minus 8. All right, I'm going to factor in t-bar to find my other values of x to put on the number line. It's an x and it looks like it's going to be a -4 and a +2. So I ended up with x is 4 and x is a -2. I'm going to set up my number line and place all my values of x on it. So I have a -4 here, a -2 here, and a +4 here. Now I'm going to need to check a number in every interval to see whether it's going to be a yes or a no. So pause the video, do some checking, and see what we've got. All right, hopefully you ended up with a no here. Nothing smaller than -4 is going to work. The number I chose between -4 and -2, which was -3, did work. The number between -2 and +4 did not work. And the number to the right of 4 did work. All right, let's determine what kind of circles. Please remember, we said -4 would make that fraction undefined. Even though it says greater than and equal to, I can't have a closed circle at that. I have to have an open circle because if it was a closed circle, that means -4 is my answer and it would make it undefined and it couldn't be solved. But I have to have closed circles at the other two because they are going to be included in my answer. So I need every answer that falls between -4 and -2, and includes the -2, and everything that's bigger than or equal to 4. So let's write my answer. I need every x that's going to be greater than -4 and less than and equal to -2, or I need every value of x that is greater than or equal to 4. So there's my answer. Again, for clarity, you may want to replay this video because there is an awful lot of steps. Please take your time and go back and do number 4, and we'll see how well you do in class tomorrow.